If you're tired of feeling stuck because you're distracted by scrolling through social media or binge-watching TV shows and movies without accomplishing the work you need to do, this video is for you. Hello guys, my name is Lucy, and in this video, I show how to stop wasting your life. Today, I'm talking about dopamine detoxing. I'm not throwing any shade, but many people treat these dopamine detox challenges like antibiotics, as if taking a pill could reset your brain in 24 hours and you'll be reborn as a new person. Well, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. A dopamine detox isn't about a challenge, it's about change. Recently, I completed a detox and realised that if I went straight back to scrolling and procrastinating, then what was it all for? Anyone can challenge themselves not to use their phone for a week, but that's completely missing the point. To regain control, it has to be done with intention. Most people don't see results from a dopamine detox because they don't have a proper protocol. That's why I created this video, to share my protocol that's helped me experience real growth, improve my focus, and gain mental clarity. It's 3 steps, and you must do each in order to have a successful dopamine detox. Part 1 is preparation, planning out the rules and structure around it so we're clear on what we want to achieve. The first step is purpose. As a doctor, my most successful patients are the ones who understand the extent of their health concerns. They realise what will happen if they don't change their behaviour, feeling stuck, experiencing pain, and visualising what that future looks like, not being healthy to see their kids grow up, taking 5 pills a day, and feeling miserable each morning. That's the mental picture that sparks a desire for change, and that's why they succeed. So, honestly ask yourself, why is it important for you to regain focus? What is going to happen if you don't get your life together? This protocol has the potential to change your life, but just because it can doesn't mean it will, not until you decide and internalise why it's necessary for you to change. Number 2 is cutting. Everyone has a different opinion about what to include in a detox. I'm not here to argue over semantics, but if you want to use my protocol that's gotten me real results, there are 4 non-negotiable categories that you have to cut out. First is Binge Tech. This includes social media, TV subscriptions, video games, forums, and political news. These things need to be physically deleted from your phone and blocked on your browser, if possible. I don't care how much discipline or willpower you think you have, because our brains are conditioned, programmed even, to consume instant gratification. It's not always about having a craving or motivation. It's just habitual. Even just glancing at your phone's lock screen notification is all it takes for 30 minutes to disappear from your life. And yes, this also means blocking YouTube if you can. I know, a YouTuber telling you to stop watching YouTube is weird, right? But if you need to use YouTube for work and creation like I do, I get it. At least do yourself a favour and use a browser extension that blocks your YouTube homepage and your sidebar to prevent getting sucked into the void. Number 3 is unhealthy sex. This includes pornography, masturbation, and yes, dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. There are many problems that can arise from watching pornography, especially in young men who are the majority consumers. You have to understand that sex is something that drives people to do very irrational things. It's absolutely crazy. But the science shows us that even the pursuit of sex releases huge spikes of dopamine, sometimes even more than the act of sex itself. So even swiping on Tinder and Bumble feeds our brain dopamine. I had a friend in college who was so dominated by sex. He once had a paper and final exam the next day, but he decided to throw away an entire semester and fail his class all because a Tinder date wanted to meet up. Imagine your life being controlled by a total stranger's text message, through a dating app, not even a confirmed real human being. Remember, this part of the protocol is to help us take back control. Next are consumables. No alcohol, no recreational drugs including marijuana, and no junk food. We are what we put into our bodies, and in order to give our mind and brain the opportunity to reset, we can't keep altering it and feeding it dopamine. Substances are one of the easiest ways to escape from emotions and from reality, because they feel really good. It's way easier to kick back with the girls, the boys, pound brewskis, and hang out till 4 a.m. than it is to sit down and focus on studying, building a business, or whatever your goals are. Our mind will always crave the things that give us quick pleasure, so this is why it's really important that during this entire protocol, our mind is unaltered. And remember, this isn't forever. Trust me, I love a glass of wine or a cocktail as much as anyone else, but you have to stay dry for the duration of the detox. Number 4 is thrill-seeking behaviors. No gambling, no shopping sprees, no skydiving, or bungee jumping. All of these activities release massive surges of dopamine because of a psychological tendency called variable rewards. You know what I'm saying? Keep them on their toes. That's a dopamine playground. If we aren't sure if the reward we're going to get is going to be good or bad, but there's a sliver of possibility that it's going to be a banger, then it's the most addictive type of activity. It's weird. Studies have shown that when we know exactly what the reward is going to be, it's less exciting, and we're less likely to do it consistently. But when the rewards are uncertain, it's an all-you-can-eat dopamine buffet. But we keep coming back for more. Maybe I'll get lucky in my next hand. Maybe I'll find a way better deal on page 10 of Amazon. If we aren't 100% certain we'll get rewarded, our craving for it gets amplified. This concept, of course, also applies to social media, dating apps, and all the other stuff we're cutting out too. In part 3 of preparation, we consider how long to dopamine detox for. At this time, I'm not aware of any clinical research specifically looking at dopamine levels after this type of detox, so my protocol is based on our understanding of human physiology. We want to spend at least 7 days in full detox mode. There's so much instant gratification delivered to us that our brain is in a constant state of overstimulation, and as you've probably experienced yourself, the more you consume, the less you actually enjoy it. This is because our body has a biological detective mechanism to overstimulation. It's called desensitization. Normally, stimulation causes our cells to release dopamine, which binds to receptors on these neighboring cells so that they can function. But with overstimulation, there's too much dopamine hanging around, and our brain can't handle it. To compensate, these cells decrease their output function, and also decrease the number of receptors. Dr. K, over at Healthy Gamer, had an amazing analogy to describe how this works. He said overstimulation is like turning up the volume on your phone to max when it's plugged into a speaker. The input is so high and the sound is so loud that we have to compensate by turning down the volume of the speaker. We have to reduce the level of the input before we can balance out the volume of the speaker. Otherwise, we'd blow out the speaker. This process, desensitization, takes time. What we're doing is allowing the dopamine receptors in our brain to return to a state of balance, or what we call homeostasis. So, give your brain at least 7 full days to reset. You can always go longer if you want. There's no upper limit to the length of time you can reduce stimulation, but personally, I don't think it's necessary to go longer than 30 days, and I'll explain why later. I'll see you in the second part. Please do not forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.